This is Michael Ward with NewWayHealthAndFitness.com, and we're here today with Dr. Phil learning about the back and its role in the golf swing.
Alright, so what I'm going to do with you guys now is I'm going to take you through what we call a posterior pelvic tilt. This is going to be the premise of the hip flexor stretch, and it's going to be also important to be able to utilize this movement in sitting and standing in functional positions, which this is very, very imperative to get a lot of tension off the low back and the hip flexors. So what I got here is basically resembling what he's lying on the table. And I want you guys just to get a little bit more of a visual of what we're going to be trying to do. The lower back normally has a reverse curve, which you can see in the spine that I'm holding here. And the abdominals is what we're going to be using to be able to do this motion. So as we engage the abdominals, when we do it appropriately, what's going to happen to the pelvis is it's going to slowly tuck under this way. Now I'm going to over-exaggerate it so you guys can see really how it moves better, but you're really trying to just undo the curve and really tuck your pelvis. So you're trying to flatten your lower back down into what you're laying on, whether it be a bed, a floor, a yoga mat, or whatever be the case. So as you're engaging these abdominals, those are the only muscles that should be playing in this part. If you're over-aggressively engaging, you can substitute with your butt, you can substitute with your quads, even a little bit with your hips, and you're going to get that false sense of movement. So really, exactly how he has his hands is what you want to do, is you want to put your hands down onto your tummy so you can feel it engage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand underneath his lower back and underneath his tailbone. So this is going to be the section that's going to be moving. So as he slowly starts engaging his pelvis, you can see subtly his hips are slowly starting to come up and his lower back is flattening down and he's going into that tilt and then relax. So the motion should be done very, very gradually, very lightly as you're drawing your pelvis in, almost as if you're trying to pick up your tailbone. The reason why you keep your knees bent is you want to take the hip flexors out so you don't involve a substitution pattern. If this is very difficult to you, you can also put something underneath your knees and hold yourself in this position, which completely takes the legs out, and you can see it's even easier for him to do it now. It almost looks like his pelvis is going to come up. But the traditional position is here. If you have a problem with this, then you can elevate the legs. But this is the basic motion for the hip flexor stretch, the standing plank that we'll be discussing later. This is going to be imperative to be able to get that pelvic position in more of a neutral spot so you can offload the tension in the lower back. And so again, just a very, very subtle motion and relax. If you're going too aggressive, you'll see sometimes your neck will want to come up. That means you're pushing way too hard. So very, very easy in the motion. You understand kind of how that's moving, Mike? It should feel very subtle.
All I'm trying to do is basically push my lower back in.
Exactly. You're just trying to push it down and just give yourself a couple second hold and then relax. And so you can almost feel it play in and out very subtly. Again, if you feel your glutes kicking in way too much, if you're feeling your quads tighten up, that means you're starting to substitute. If you feel the tension in the front of your neck kick in, that means you're really trying to bear down. So you're just trying to suck your belly button down to your lower back a little bit. And you're just getting a little bit of that movement as I showed in the pelvis. And that's pretty much the idea of the motion. So tell me what you felt after you learned that.
It made a lot more sense in terms of the first one, especially because we kept saying, oh, get your, take the pressure off your lower back, tilt your hips, and I kept trying to just pelvic thrust through it, and it wasn't doing anything. Laying down, I could actually feel, okay, there's a gap between my back on the mat and not. Yeah. How do you force that down? You're going to have to engage your stomach and kind of flatten it. Yeah. When I stood up, that made a little bit more sense. Like you had said, there's more tension now, so how are you going to do it? All you're trying to do is just force your back like that. It's that little motion. You don't have to do that because it's never going to get there. And then once I did that, if I could actually ease into the motion a little easier, I could feel all that stretch here more, not so much down here anymore. But
So you're isolating more of that hip flexor versus taking into consideration your whole leg. Right. So now when you go into an isolated stretch like the hip flexor stretch we did before, or you're doing some other kind of stretch or position, you can appreciate the minimalness of the movement to be able to keep yourself in the right position, and even when you're going into the golf swings and stuff like that.
Like you're moving that much.
Exactly. It's more of the engagement. That's really what you're looking for.
It's
versus
like you're just trying to engage just enough to feel the muscle and then stop. That's all.
Exactly.
Hey, thanks for watching. Thank you, Dr. Phil with Impact Health Now, for all your help and expertise today. Let us know what you thought about the video. Give a thumbs up, thumbs down, and don't forget to click that subscribe button.